Flames erupt.
Started screaming, fire, fire, fire.
Families inside.
I heard a lot of screaming.
Firefighters can't keep up.
And you can feel the heat.
Tragedy in the ashes.
Temperatures are supposed to get so low.
How low will they go?
Turning my heat up.
A big chunk of the U.S.
Bundling up.
weathering a deep freeze. Targeted and ambushed.
He was trying to keep us safe.
A police officer murdered.
It's pretty hard.
His department a murder scene.
You know everybody.
His community in mourning.
Now, ABC 6 News at 5, on your side.
Breaking tonight, the investigation into what police are saying was a targeted killing of a police officer in Danville. Police say Thomas Cottrell was shot to death behind the municipal building. The scene from Sky 6 showing the investigation still very much active, and we're learning a lot more about the events leading up to the tragedy.
Police laying out a timeline of what happened. Knox County deputies say they received a 911 call at 11:20 last night from a woman saying her ex-boyfriend had left to kill a Danville police officer. At 11:47, Officer Cottrell was found dead and his weapon and cruiser were missing. At 1:36, deputies say they spotted the suspect, Herschel Jones III, running from a house. Tonight, he's in jail. We have every angle of this story covered with team coverage. Lisa Rontala is looking at Jones's long criminal history.
Steve Levine spoke with Officer Cottrell's former boss about the kind of person that he was.
We're going to start, though, with Luann Stoya. And Luann, the community is rallying around the police department tonight.
That's right, and we have learned tonight that first responders will be debriefed by critical incident counselors. And while that happens, we understand that the community is still trying to come to grips with a person who was ambushed and murdered, a man sworn and to serve and protect this community. Investigators say an ex-girlfriend of the suspect tipped off police something like this could happen here. She told them Herschel Jones had weapons and planned to kill an officer. Betty Durbin has lived in Danville 75 years, near where the shooting went down.
It was whoever was there and on duty would have been the victim. And it's sad.
Deputies tried to notify Officer Cottrell but couldn't reach him. Cottrell was found dead right outside the police department. The coroner confirms to ABC 6 the officer's death appeared to come from a gunshot to the head. Durbin says the murder hits home because police officers are like family.
Like I said, this is a close community and everybody knew everybody and helped look out, and he was trying to keep us safe.
While deputies and agents from BCI worked to piece together evidence at the scene, at McFadden's Hotspot restaurant next door, owner Donna McFadden opened her shop early to give people a warm place to go. McFadden has a daughter in law enforcement and says the tragedy hits close to home, so they're collecting money for the family.
It scares me, because that's my daughter's dream, and I think it could have been her.
Danville schools will be on a delay Tuesday morning. Local pastors tell us counselors will be on hand at 8 a.m. for students and staff to talk through questions they may have about the horrific event. And right now, flags are flying at half-staff here in Danville, here at the police department and across the community in honor of the man who gave his life in service of others. We are now learning more about Officer Cottrell and his service to Central Ohio. Steve Levine has more on that.
Luann, I spoke with the officer's first wife, the mother of his 3 teenage children, this afternoon. She did not want to go on camera, but she says all their hearts are broken today, as well as the community. You can see this sign here at this drive-thru, which clearly states Officer Cottrell will be a hero forever.
He had a huge smile, and he would light up a room when he came in.
Utica Police Chief Cliff Bigler now wears a black stripe over his badge to remember Officer Tom Cottrell, who left his department less than 18 months ago to become a patrol officer in Danville.
He enjoyed the public. He enjoyed what he did, being a police officer.
And just hours after neighbors learned they had lost a police officer to violence, tributes began popping up everywhere in the tiny town. Flags were lowered, and this sign posted at a Danville drive-thru calling Cottrell a hero.
He's a familiar face around town.
Carol McCartney, who works at the Hangout restaurant just down the street from the Danville police station, says the Newark High School graduate was a popular and familiar face at community parades and coaching kids baseball.
Very nice guy. Like I said, very conscientious about his community, about his job. Just an all-around nice man.
I'm not sure if Tom ever wished to go to a large city. I know he liked the small community areas. He did well with the kids. He did well with the people in the community.
The officer, also a beloved family man. As we said, he had 3 teenage daughters, ages 16, 14, and 13. In fact, they spent the holidays in Puerto Rico together, a trip put together by his own mother. We are live in Danville. I'm Steve Levine, ABC 6 News.
Thank you, Steve. The suspect in the case, again, Herschel Jones III, is in jail tonight, and we're learning he has a lengthy criminal record. ABC 6's Lisa Rontola continuing our team coverage now, live in Danville. Lisa?
All morning long, we saw BCI agents pull boxes of evidence from this mobile home in Danville. Some of those boxes look like they could have been holding long barrel guns, and neighbors around here say they saw Herschel Jones run back here after the shooting and try and set this house on fire. Only years after Herschel Jones tried to tell the courts he was insane,
it's pretty hard.
Knox County deputies suspect he's the one who shot and killed Danville officer Thomas Cottrell outside of the police station late Sunday night.
Something like this happen in this whole town just shakes you to the core.
Douglas Nistley lives across the street from Jones and has seen his interaction with police for years.
He was just a hothead and just one of those kind of guys that you don't even want around your kids and your family.
We found Jones' adult criminal record here goes back to 2001. He's faced drug and gun charges and is now on parole after a 2014 prison release for burglary. But 3 months ago, Danville officers arrested him again on counts of felonious assault, rape, domestic violence, and stalking.
He's had run-ins with his girlfriend. He's had run-ins with me.
While we don't know who the listed victim was in October, we know a woman calling herself Jones' ex called dispatchers to warn them of Jones' threats against police Sunday. Officers dropped off this possible witness back to Jones' home after his arrest. She did not want to talk to us.
I wish that guys like that we could do something more about, you know.
It turns out Jones got out of jail in October after the rape and felonious assault charges against him dropped. While the lesser charges stuck, we still don't know what happened in the domestic case, which could have kept him locked up for the next 22 years. And we don't know when Jones will face a judge on those tampering charges. He's being held in Morrow County tonight. We can only assume he'll face a judge tomorrow. The courts are closed today or were closed today, and Knox County did not release any information on those charges. Reporting live in Danville, Lisa Rontola, ABC 6 News.
All right, thank you, Lisa. Well, this is the second police officer killed in the U.S. in the past 24 hours. Officer Douglas Barney was shot to death in Utah yesterday. He was searching for 2 hit-and-run suspects when he was killed. The gunman, Corey Henderson, was killed in a shootout with police. Barney was an 18-year police veteran. He had recently gotten a clean bill of health after battling bladder cancer. Stay with ABC 6 News. Coming up new at 5:30, how Columbus police officers train to protect themselves from these types of ambush-style shootings. We'll also be updating this story around the clock on social media and our website, abc6onyourside.com.
Well, the cold is the other big story tonight. It never made it out of the teens today, and temperatures continue to drop tonight. 12 degrees in the metro area now. And Chief Meteorologist Bill Kelly's in the Weather Center. How low are we going down tonight, Bill?
Yeah, we're going to drop down into the single digits easily. Good evening to all of you. Layer up if you are going out tonight. Let's go out to the live shot and talk about those numbers specifically. You mentioned that temperature. There it is at 12 degrees. The winds are at 10, so when you account for the wind chill, that is playing a role tonight, and it's a problem. We're sub-zero, so a very cold night. The dew point is also something to notice. It's 3 degrees below zero, meaning that your lips might start chapping, your skin's going to get dry. There's just no moisture out there at all. So 7 to 12 degrees over the next couple of hours, dry, but biting cold with those sub-zero wind chills. We have a lot to talk about tonight. We're talking about some cold temperatures, when we will rebound, plus a couple of different opportunities for snow this week. That's a little positive spin on it. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Bill. Now at 5, 2 people are dead after a fire in Franklinton. Sky 6 was flying over as smoke from the house could be seen from miles away. It happened on Braille Avenue. ABC 6's Michelle Newell is live with the conditions that made this fire so tough to battle. Michelle?
Well, Yolanda, the frigid temperatures have made it very difficult for firefighters to do their job, but they've managed to work around it. Take a look right behind me. You can see fire crews on scene here. We don't know what caused this fire. A witness says someone threw a Molotov cocktail on the porch, but fire officials say they don't know that for sure. Columbus police and fire officials spoke to 2 people about it. Of course, this community is shocked and saddened, just trying to make sense of what happened. Smoke, flames, and loud screams.
You could feel the heat from the fire just blazing on me.
It's what Thomas Clark saw and heard right next door to his house this morning.
I ran upstairs and started screaming, fire, fire, fire.
The flames were so intense, Thomas was afraid the fire would spread to his house.
Very intense. I thought I was gonna die if we didn't get out right away.
Firefighters saved 7 people who were inside the 2-unit home, but 2 didn't make it. A man and woman firefighters say might have been in their 60s.
I knew her quite a while because she was a friend of mine.
In the frigid cold, firefighters poured water on flames that spread within minutes. That water quickly turned to ice. The flames were so strong, firefighters initially couldn't go inside because it wasn't safe. They evacuated some homes nearby and moved those people inside a Coda bus to stay warm. Neighbors are now left wondering what caused this deadly fire.
I didn't hear an explosion or a boom or nothing. Just came out of my door and there was fire. Like someone said it seems like.
And back here live, you can see some of that smoke just coming out of the house. We're told 3 of the survivors are kids who are right now at Nationwide Children's Hospital. They're expected to be okay. Another survivor, we're told, is at Mount Carmel West. She also is expected to be okay. Reporting live from Franklinton, Michelle Newell, ABC 6 News.
All right, thank you, Michelle. Coming up, the price of oil takes another dip at $5.16. The cheap gas prices it's leading to in Columbus, and where you can find the lowest place to fill up.
Franklin County has the highest number of tuberculosis cases in the state. At 5:40, the new push to fight the costly disease.
Well, now breaking news in the deadly shooting of a police officer in Knox County. We just got the 911 call made from the ex-girlfriend of the suspect as she tried to warn police about what was going to happen.
Cops in Danville are in danger too. My ex-boyfriend's out in camo looking to kill a cop. He's got my house keys. He's got my truck keys. He's got guns on him.
Police say Thomas Cottrell was shot to death by Herschel Jones III behind the municipal building late last night. Jones is in jail right now. Coming up at 5:30, the ways the community is rallying to support Cottrell's family.
And more breaking news, this out of Hollywood. Sad to report that TMZ is saying that the Eagles guitarist and singer Glenn Frey has died. The website's saying that Frey had intestinal issues which flared up over the weekend. He, of course, co-wrote and sang most of the Eagles' biggest hits, like Take It Easy, Tequila Sunrise, Lion Eyes, and the list goes on and on. Frey also got into acting and appeared on Miami Vice back in the 80s. He was 67. Oil prices are dropping to new lows tonight. The price for a barrel of crude oil finished below $29 today, the first time that's happened since 2003. Investors believe with the sanctions being lifted on Iran, more oil will flood the already oversupplied market. Since the beginning of the month, oil prices have dropped 21%, and that is leading to this big drop in gas prices. We found gas for $1.28 at this station on Climb and Demarest Roads, way below the average in Columbus of $1.63. The average has dropped 20 cents in the past week citywide. And believe it or not, there's an even cheaper gas pump out there. Stations in Galloway selling it for $1.21. You can find the cheapest prices in your neighborhood using this map here. Just head to abc6onyourside.com, click on Pump Patrol, and it's there on the On Your Side tab.
Developing now, top tennis players say they are shocked at the new accusations about fixed tennis matches. A BBC and BuzzFeed News investigation shows evidence of all-star players throwing their games. The athletes were allegedly paid off by big gamblers who bet on matches. The Tennis Integrity Unit is looking into it.
Well, it's not just us. A lot of other parts of this country right now are dealing with extreme cold and weather in general. In Boston, New York City, and D.C., they're dealing with their first big snows of the season. The snow causing severe accidents on highways in the Northeast. It even surprised people in Buffalo, who are used to a lot more snow on the ground by this time of the year.
There was actually nothing here. I mean, there was grass. You could see green grass on my lawn yesterday. It started yesterday afternoon around 4 o'clock and woke up to all of this morning.
17 states from Montana to North Carolina are under wind chill advisories. And here in Columbus, that advisory will last until tomorrow morning.
Just say we're one of them.
Yep.
It is really cold out there.
It was
biting cold. Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Was it biting?
Biting. Whatever the definition of biting is, that's what it was.
You walk out, Mother Nature just snaps you right in the face. Yeah. Well, speaking of that, take a look. Here's what it looks like out there right now. You look, you okay? You go, okay. It's Monday.
Get.
What did he say? You go outside, you look, and you say, which if you say that fast, kind of tough, it's not too bad, right? Yeah. We had a little bit of snow yesterday, about a half an inch of snow. But what you don't see on here so much is just how cold it is. You can tell because the lakes are freezing up, and so you get some of that. But then you put the numbers on, and it shows you we are sitting at 12 degrees right now, 12 with a wind chill that is down below zero. Westerly winds at 10 miles per hour. So the winds aren't all that strong, but our temperature is just cold, and it is going to stay cold. And so our wind chill is affected even by just a little bit of wind. 13 our high temperature today, so we're 1 degree off of that right now. The normal is 36, normal low is 22. We got down to 4 this morning, and I think we're going to get there tomorrow morning. In terms of snow, give you an update. Again, a half an inch of snow officially yesterday, bringing our monthly total to 3.9 inches, which is down about 1.5 inches. I think we're going to at least have a good chance of making up this deficit by the end of the week. For the year, we're down about 7.5 inches when you look at the overall snow. Of course, we didn't have any until just this month. 12 is the temperature in Delaware, Groveport, Columbus, Dublin, Marysville, and London. The popular number, but as I said, the wind chill. Here's what you want to dress for if you're going out. About as cold as it gets. I mean, we're going below zero with the wind chill, so it's all hat, gloves, coats, everything if you're making your way out with those winds at 10 miles per hour, maybe a little bit more in spots, but that's all you have to worry about is the cold air. You do not have to worry about any snow or any ice on the ground other than what might be there already. 12 in Chillicothe. Look how little of a temperature spread we have around the region, generally within a few degrees of one another. But when you add the wind to it, that wind chill advisory up until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and that does include the greater Columbus area. We have a few clouds out there now, but I do expect some of these clouds to break. We're already starting to see that down to the south. So let me run you through your hour by hour. I don't see any weather-related problems for you tonight other than it being cold. So we'll start out tomorrow morning, partly cloudy. Have your sunglasses with you. Sun rises shortly before 8 o'clock. By the way, it goes down tonight at 5:34, so you may have noticed it's getting later and later, enough that you start noticing it, where you get some residual daylight out there till nearly 6 o'clock if there's enough clearing. So 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, again, partly to mostly sunny skies. It should be a very nice day, but it is going to stay very cold. Warmer than today, but it is going to be a cold one. But beautiful. Get out and enjoy because we have some changes, and those changes come on Wednesday. And let me show you that. We go through our day Wednesday. We start out with some clouds, and then by Wednesday afternoon, we pick up a chance for snow. Wednesday does not look like a big snowmaker, but it's one of a couple this week. So another biting cold night. We're down to 4. Wind chill advisory in effect. Tomorrow, 18, partly to mostly sunny. It will be dry, but it is frigid. And if you work outside, you know the deal. It's like today. It's all the layers plus the hand warmers, those types of things. 24 on Wednesday. We're looking at most places staying at about an inch or less, but some could get just a little bit more. The one day that I'm focusing on, I'll talk about it more next time, is Friday. That could bring us several inches of snow easily. We're going to be watching that, and that will be Friday during the day, evening, and into the first part of Saturday. Could be, we're 4 and 5 days out, could be our first decent snow of the year, guys.
All right, Bill. Looks like winter has in fact arrived.
Correct.
All right, sticking around too. He's about to compete in one of the most physical races on earth, but it's his personal journey that's a real inspiration. You'll meet Central Ohio's Ultraman right after the break.
Plus, an active investigation and abundance of support, finding justice for a slain officer at 5:30.
Officer Cottrell is the second to be killed in the line of duty this year in the country. Coming up at 6, we'll take a look at why violence against officers is on the rise.
What he's attempting makes the Ironman look like an appetizer. The Ultraman Florida is like the Super Bowl for endurance athletes.
It's unbelievable. Plain City's Adam Ward is on a 7-year journey to health, fitness, and maybe a championship, too. ABC6's Clay Hall actually got Adam to sit down for almost 15 minutes. Clay?
He still remembers the day and the order of the last fast food he ever consumed. Adam Ward made a real change in his life, and now he's on the fast track. Orlando, Florida, look out.
A boss finally challenged me to do a triathlon. So there's no way I can't run a mile. I don't even know how to swim.
And now he's a fish. Adam Ward is a triathlete of some distinction. He's one of 40 who will compete in the Ultraman Florida next month, the Super Bowl of endurance racing. He had to give up a few things to get there.
I remember the last hamburger I had at a fast food restaurant was in 2009.
Are you serious?
And it was two McDoubles from McDonald's.
This is Ward coming out of the water in his very first triathlon. He flirted with 250 pounds before jumping in with both feet. He now competes at just under 200.
I remember him having high cholesterol, and then that did concern me because I want to keep him around a while. And he was young to have high cholesterol.
If he's not in the pool or scaling a mountain in Nevada, you'll likely find him on the bike in his basement or on a 120-mile ride just the other day in the elements. He's inspiring others.
People would email me and say, Adam, you really inspired me by this video. I started to get into triathlon. I started to get healthy. Dozens of people have emailed me that they've lost weight and got healthy.
Go get him. I'm now an honorary member of the A-Dub Club. Coming up at 6, what's required in the Ultraman? The Ironman is 140 miles. The Ultraman, 321 miles over 3 days. I'm Clay Hall, ABC 6 Sports.
Just mind-boggling.
Can't even imagine that.
Well,
oh my gosh.
As you know, I've done dozens of them, and
Yeah.
I can't imagine that at all. I just can't get my mind wrapped around it. I mean, you're basically doing an Ironman for 3 days,
Yeah.
3 days in a row.
Ooh, well, we wish him all the best, man.
He didn't just get into triathlon, he got into
Yeah,
triathlon.
for real.
All right, a lot more news headed your way with that physical specimen we all know as Kurt.
Aha. Hey, 300 miles in a couple days, that's what they invented cars for. Well, he was targeted, he was ambushed, and he was murdered. A police officer slain outside his police station. Right after the break, the search for justice and the outpouring of support. Plus, a potentially deadly disease on the rise in central Ohio, but doctors don't have the weapons to fight it. At 5:40, how a senator wants to tackle TB. And at 5:56, it's a children's book without a birthday cake. Why parents say it ends up sugarcoating slavery.
ABC 6 News at 5 on your side starts with this breaking news alert.
Condolences are pouring in at this hour for a Danville police officer shot and killed in the line of duty. Police say Officer Thomas Cottrell was specifically targeted by a guy who was looking to kill a cop. And as you can see from Sky 6, the investigation is still very active. We have continuing team coverage of this breaking story tonight.
Brooks DeRose is in the social media center with how police departments across the country are reacting to this tragedy.
Well, let's start with Rob Wells in Danville with the latest on the case that prosecutors are building against the suspect. Rob?
And Kurt, I just spoke with the Knox County prosecutor by telephone a few minutes ago to get an update. He says right now he is working to build a case, but it could take several days against Herschel Jones. Of course, he is the one accused of shooting Officer Thomas Cottrell right behind us, behind the Danville Municipal Building. Prosecutor Chip McConville says he's helping to write several search warrants still at this hour as part of the investigation against Jones, who he says he just filed a case against in October 2015. He says in that investigation, Jones, who he says that everybody refers to as Chopper by a nickname here, was involved in some sort of a felonious assault charge. And as far as additional charges, McConville says it is still a little too early to tell what those exactly will be. Meanwhile, this close-knit community, it is coming together and already gathering donations for the fallen officer as well as all of his family.
In such a small community, it's just everybody's so blown away about, how tragic it would be and how close to home it is. And you just feel for your family and thank God that you have the time that you do, with your family and friends.
And while the community pulls together, the prosecutor says Again, that it'll take several days to gather all the evidence collected by the BCI and to review that. He says he also needs to review the autopsy results to get a clearer picture about exactly what charges and what he will go after this guy in court. Of course, we will keep you posted. But for now, reporting live in Danville, Rob Wells, ABC 6 News.
Officer Cottrell's death is a reminder for all police officers that wearing a uniform and badge can make them a target. Markers line a courtyard at the Columbus Police Academy, each one showing the face of a fallen officer who was killed in the line of duty. Columbus Police Sergeant Chris Cheatham trains officers in the hopes that they don't have to add any more. He says cadets entering the academy are trained to constantly check their surroundings.
If a non-recruit enters the same hallway that they're in, they have to acknowledge that person. In other words, they have to have eyes in the back of their head. And so we train them, we try to instill that in them in their first 6 months, and it's a trait that doesn't come naturally to a person. They have to train themselves to do that.
Cheatham tells ABC 6 that officers are also trained through ambush scenarios. All officers are told to maintain a heightened sense of awareness while on duty.
Well, the state police union is talking about the shooting tonight. In a statement, FOP President Jay McDonald says the 25,000 members of the Fraternal Order of Police of Ohio will never forget that Officer Cottrell gave his life in the service of others. We ask all Ohioans to pray for peace and healing for Officer Cottrell's family, friends, and co-workers. Governor John Kasich also released a very brief statement on Twitter. He tweeted, "So saddened to hear of the loss of Danville police officer Thomas Cottrell, who died in the line of duty this morning." His office told ABC 6 News the governor will order flags lowered later this week.
The outpouring of support for Officer Cottrell's family has been swift from law enforcement officers and agencies all across central Ohio. We're even seeing departments from across the country talking about this. ABC 6's Brooks Giroux is in the social media center with a look at all that. Brooks?
Kurt, it's hard to miss it. Tens of thousands of people are talking about what happened. The Ohio State Highway Patrol posting this trooper badge with the black bar saying simply, "In honor of Officer Thomas Cottrell." Columbus Police tweeting, "Our thoughts and prayers go out to Officer Cottrell's family and the Danville Police Department, killed on duty, senseless tragedy." Franklin County Sheriff Zach Scott calling Cottrell a hero. "We send our deep sympathy to his Knox County family and friends." Groveport Police posting this picture and tweeting, "Danville, we share the pain." City of Dublin's police chief writing, "The men and women of DPD send condolences to the family and fellow officers of Danville, Ohio police officer Thomas Cottrell, #ThinBlueLine." Lima Police saying the thoughts and prayers of all of us are with Danville PD. We see you. Delaware County Sheriff Martin tweeting, "We once again share the pain of a loss, ultimate sacrifice." Now beyond Ohio, Florida police and deputies posting this picture and asking for prayers. And in Massachusetts, Fraternal Order of Police calling this another senseless murder of a police officer, saying this must stop. And finally, our thoughts and prayers by people like you and me, thankful for those who protect us. Kurt?
All right, Brooks, thank you. Stay with ABC 6 News for continuing coverage of this developing story. All new at 6, we're taking a closer look at how dangerous it is to be a police officer these days. You can also get instant updates on the case on our website, abc6onyourside.com.
Another big story in central Ohio tonight, the cold weather. Temperatures falling again at this hour, and the wind chill is 1 degree below zero. Chief Meteorologist Bill Kelly is in the Weather Center with how cold it's going to get tonight.
The air temperature itself going to drop down into the single digits once again. Good evening to all of you. Let me start you out with our current numbers. We are temperature-wise right around 12 degrees or so in Columbus. Same thing with Grove City, Groveport. I mean, give or take a degree or two, that's where you are. But when you add those wind chills, they are ranging from the -4 to -1 range right now. Where there's no wind, Grove City, or at least a very light wind, your wind chill still, just at 2 degrees. So here's how it breaks down. Temperatures will slowly drop tonight. They're not going to tank, but we're going to go 11 o'clock by 7, 9 by 9, and 8 by 11 o'clock tonight with those wind chills staying below zero all night long. In fact, down to a -10 at times. Not a windy night, just a very cold night. Wind chill advisory is in effect. We're talking about some snow. We'll see in a few minutes with that.
All right, Bill, thank you. The cold made a water main break in East Columbus even worse. The water shooting into the air, freezing on power lines and then causing them to fall. This happened on Route 62 at Alkire Road. That area has been blocked off all day. We'll let you know when it reopens.
The family of a man shot and killed by a University of Cincinnati police officer has settled a lawsuit with the school. Former officer Ray Tensing shot Samuel DuBose during a traffic stop in July. Investigators say body camera video showed the shooting was not justified. The university announced they will pay the family $4.8 million. It will also provide a free undergraduate education for DuBose's 12 children. A cost of $500,000. The university will also build a memorial honoring DuBose on the UC campus. Tensing is due in court next month as both sides work on a trial date.
Coming up, a sweet spin on slavery at 5:56, the children's book that's leaving a bitter taste.
Plus, she got help when she needed it the most. Now she's paying it forward. At 5:45, how she went from homeless to hopeful. New at 5:30, Senator Sherrod Brown wants the White House to help fight a costly disease.
Yeah, he's calling for more funding to battle tuberculosis. Ben Garbrick talked with the senator today, and he joins us live from the Columbus Public Health. Ben?
Well, Kurt, doctors here say Franklin County has the highest number of tuberculosis cases in the state. Last year, there were 40, and that number has been steadily climbing. The problem is doctors here say the amount of money they have to fight this is dangerously low, so they're hoping the White House might be able to fix that.
Tuberculosis is not a common disease in America, but it could take a toll on the health system.
It kills more than 1 million people around the world every year, kills very few Americans, and we want to keep it that way.
Here's the problem. Public health doctors say they have $55,000 for TB drugs, but it costs 3 times that to treat just one person with a drug-resistant strain of it.
We would do everything to make sure that they got treated, and if we had to go into different budget line items to do that, we would.
That's why Senator Sherrod Brown and doctors at Columbus Public Health want the White House to help them out.
It's not just saying give us more money to fight TB and drug-resistant TB. It's give us this amount, and here's what we're going to do with it.
Senator Brown points to the response to Ebola last year as an example of what proper funding can do.
That's what public health's all about. It's preventing it in the first place, stopping its spread when it comes, and giving people protection in all walks of life.
Right now, there's no set amount for how much money public health officials here might get. President Obama is still working on his final budget. While in office, it will be up to his administration to decide how much money they ultimately get. Live in the East Side, I'm Ben Garbrick, ABC 6 News.
Thank you, Ben. She went from living at a homeless shelter to working there. Right after the break, the personal journey that has others following in her footsteps. On Wednesday, we are hosting a Day of Compassion to raise money for the Community Shelter Board.
It's their mission to end homelessness here in Central Ohio, one person at a time. And sometimes the people they help end up helping others. For Annette, coming to work is kind of like coming home.
On some days it is, because I get to thinking back on my past, and I get teary-eyed and stuff like that.
Annette was once homeless, and she stayed here at the shelter on Van Buren Drive for nearly 2 months. But now, she comes here to work as part of the custodial staff.
Wow, I really was here, but I had the motivation and the help. So it felt good. I mean, it's a different transition, though. It's very different.
That transition hasn't been easy. It took a lot of hard work. Annette says she didn't get a handout, she got help. That's why she's made it her mission to pay it forward.
To give back and to help some of the ladies in here. Because, experience is the best teacher. And a lot of women that was in here with me was still in here. So I got online with them, pointed them in the right direction, and so helped a lot of them.
The pride and satisfaction of a second chance is something Annette hopes every homeless person gets to experience. But like her, she says you have to want it to get it.
You truly have to go out and do the footwork. Like I said, they do point you in the right direction and they do guide you. The rest is truly up to you.
And we want you to join us this Wednesday for a Day of Compassion. We're teaming up with the Community Shelter Board to raise money and help our community. For more information on how you can donate, go to our website, abc6onyourside.com, and click on the banner at the top of the page.
We just got a dusting from this weekend's snow in Columbus, but near Cleveland, they are digging out from nearly a foot of it. Mostly the lake effect snow bands there. You can see road crews had a pretty tough time keeping up. Snow emergencies have been issued for several counties, and police are asking people to just stay home if they can.
Well, the cold isn't stopping Columbus from honoring Martin Luther King Jr. About a half hour ago, the annual MLK Day March started at the King Arts Complex near downtown. It'll end at the historic Lincoln Theater. The march route is different this year. In the past, it's ended at Veterans Memorial, which, as you know, under construction, being rebuilt. So headed to the Lincoln Theater. It is a cold, cold day for that. People look like they dressed accordingly, though.
Yeah. Yes, and I guess we have some late breaking news here just into our newsroom. Fayette County schools are on a 2-hour delay for tomorrow morning.
Yep, just if history repeats itself, I would imagine quite a few delays tomorrow morning. Wind chill advisory is in effect. We could see those wind chills down to 10 below. We're already between about 0 and 4 below, so it's not too far off of where we are right now. But just at least be ready for that, and if it doesn't happen, at least you have that game plan to go. So let me start you out. I want to show you where we are right now, where the temperatures are. We are sitting at 11 and 12 degrees around the area with winds. The winds aren't a problem. I mean, fortunately, our winds are not 20 and 30 miles per hour, else this number would be way lower than it is. It feels like -1 right now, and that's just with a 10-mile-per-hour wind. The dew point is very low, so even though the temperature is 12, our humidity is just 50%, so there's some room there for that to drop. So wind chill advisory, that's leading our headlines tonight. Wind chill temps to -10 tonight. That advisory officially expires at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. We have some light snow Wednesday. Now, some spots on Wednesday could pick up an inch or maybe a little bit more. It does not look like a big weather system, but we'll keep our eyes on it. Things could fluctuate here and there. There's just simply not a lot of moisture to work with out there, and this is mainly during the daytime hours, but where my focus is going to be this week is on Friday. That one looks much bigger, at least have the possibility for our first decent snow out there, and that would be mid-morning, say midday through Saturday morning, so it will be a longer. And the difference with this one versus the one on Wednesday is it's a weather system that's moving in from the south. So not only will it bring that lift, it's going to bring more moisture. Our temperatures will be warmer, still cold, but it's going to bring moisture, and so that could give us a fair amount of snow. We're still 4 days out, but I'll get more on that in just a moment. 13 is the temperature downtown. It's 13 in Obetz, 12 in Gahanna, 10 in Pataskala. It is 13 around Lewis Center. You look at the big picture, cold air just diving on down. How about these current wind chill factors where everybody, essentially from Interstate 70 to the north, is below 0 when you look at the wind chill. 5 degrees below 0 in Indianapolis, 1 degree below in Saginaw. Up around the lake in Cleveland, it's -6. Lake effect snows will continue on the eastern side of the lakes as you have this northeast wind, or rather this west wind that's blowing off to the east. And so if you're up there or traveling there, we keep that in mind. Otherwise, we're dry. We have some clouds early. We're going to see the clouds start to break up a little bit as we head on into the overnight hours. But we'll say a partly cloudy morning. No problems if you're driving around, other than it being very cold tomorrow morning. You'll need extra time to warm the car up, so budget that for tomorrow morning, even if you don't have that school delay, and make sure those kids are layered. Man, if you could take them to school, that's even better. And then into the afternoon, a fair amount of sunshine. I'm going to call it a partly to mostly cloudy day. Here's our next weather system there. That's the one that's going to slide by as we get on into our Wednesday. And notice it's coming in from the west, not from the south. So again, not a lot of moisture to work with, but some spots could get more than an inch of snow. Shouldn't be much more than that. 4 is the temperature forecast tonight. Another biting cold night. Wind chill advisory in effect. Tomorrow we're going to say 18, dry but frigid. And here is the forecast looking ahead. So there's your Wednesday. We warm it to 24. I mean, warmer, but still cold. 30 on Thursday. Now Friday, the high temperature should be right around 30 degrees or so. And watch this. This is one of the forecast models. In the morning, things starting to move in from the south. And the way that it's shaping up on this particular storm, the farther south you are, the more snow you will likely get. So if you're watching from Chillicothe, Athens, even Circleville, Piketon, this is where we will likely see a fair amount of snow with this one. And it should last through the day, Friday night, and into your Saturday morning. So we will fine-tune that as it gets closer. Just keep that in mind if you have plans. A lot of people have Friday night plans, especially travel plans. They could be seriously impacted if this holds together, guys.
All right, thanks for the heads up, Bill. Is Hollywood's biggest night Hollywood's whitest night? Right after the break, the Oscar backlash that's sparking a boycott.
And it's already that time of year again. If you're looking for great wedding ideas, we've got just the place for you. ABC6 is a proud sponsor of the Columbus Wedding Show. It features the best tips and hottest trends for your big day. Plus, there are some cool giveaways from Myers Jewelers. The event kicks off January 23rd.
A quick clarification for you tonight. Miami Trace schools in Fayette County are on a 2-hour delay tomorrow. That's Miami Trace schools only. Also, we've just learned Scioto Valley schools in Pike County are also on a 2-hour delay. There you go.
Well, going viral tonight, backlash from the Oscar nominations.
Tonight, director Spike Lee and other Hollywood heavyweights say they won't attend the awards show because of a lack of racial diversity. Lauren Lister has a look at the outrage.
I will not be at the Academy Awards, and I won't be watching.
Jada Pinkett Smith taking that firm statement to her Facebook page overnight. Coming just days after husband Will Smith's Best Actor Oscar snub for his role in Concussion. None of the Academy Awards 20 acting nominations went to a person of color, reviving last year's controversy and the viral hashtag #OscarsSoWhite.
Begging for acknowledgement or even asking diminishes dignity.
She's not alone. Director Spike Lee voicing his disappointment on Facebook, writing he won't be attending the ceremony. Expressing gratitude for receiving an honorary Oscar, the Chirac director addressed diversity in his acceptance speech for the Academy's Governors Awards back in November.
It's easier to be the President of the United States as a black person than be the head of studio.
Speak a little truth and people lose their mind.
Straight Out of Compton overlooked in the actor, director, and best picture categories. Rapper Ice Cube, who the film is based on, speaking out on The Wendy Williams Show.
I'm not pissed, I'm not surprised.
Oscars host Chris Rock recently tweeting out a new promo with the caption, "The Oscars, the White BET Awards." President of the Academy, Cheryl Boone Isaacs, who is herself black, says she has sought to improve diversity.
We are working inside the Academy in order to make sure we have inclusion.
Both Spike Lee and Jada Pinkett Smith in their messages referencing today's national holiday in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Lauren Lister, ABC News, Los Angeles.
You can watch the drama unfold right here on ABC 6. We'll have the Oscars live on February 28th. The show starts at 7 p.m.
Crews are stepping up their search for a missing California ski instructor. 23-year-old Carson May went missing from Sugar Bowl Resort near Lake Tahoe last Thursday. Officials say he vanished while he was skiing on the backside of a mountain. Search and rescue crews from California and Nevada are out looking for May. His cell phone stopped sending signals several days ago, so there's no way to pinpoint his exact location. New at 5:30, the publisher of a controversial children's book is pulling it from distribution. The book is called A Birthday Cake for George Washington. It's about Washington and his slaves. The book features Hercules, a slave with a huge smile as he bakes the president a birthday cake. Critics say the book doesn't take slavery seriously. Scholastic admitted it does not include enough historical context.
Caught on camera, SpaceX's latest attempt to land a rocket was so close to perfect.
And yet so far. The rocket was touching down on a platform in the Pacific Ocean. You can see once it landed, it started to tip over, landed on its side, and then blew up. The unmanned rocket successfully carried a satellite into orbit. The company says ice buildup due to condensation from heavy fog at liftoff may be to blame.
Still, they landed it on that thing in the middle of the ocean. Pretty impressive. Well, there's a lot more news headed your way tonight.
Bob joining us now with a look at what's coming up at 6.
Yeah, thanks, Kurt. Thanks, Yo. Tonight, we're following two big stories in the area. 2 people killed in a fire in Franklinton. What neighbors are saying about them as investigators search for a cause. And an officer killed in the line of duty. How the town of Danville is remembering Officer Tom Cottrell, and we're learning more about the criminal past of the alleged shooter. We'll tell you about that. Also, ABC 6 looking into the recent spike in violence against officers nationwide.